Sometimes a competitor is unaware of the specific application of a rule. Other times, they look for the boundary of that rule and then they step all over it. We're looking at finding the difference between the two and making the hard call this week on the firing line. There are times that a competitor may look at part of a rule and attempt to misapply it to another situation. While we must ensure that we are following the rules during the match, taking parts of a rule without taking into context or into account other rules in the rule book, that may leave you with more trouble than you actually bargained for. Before we call up the next shooter, let's take a look at a couple of rules from the shooter's handbook. Procedural errors are simple, unintentional mistakes made as a result of brain fade or confusion, where the competitor engages the stage in a way other than how it was intended. Procedural penalties cannot exceed 1 per stage. A failure to engage or spirit of the game infraction carries a 30-second penalty. The accumulation of 2 failure to engage, spirit of the game penalties in the same match results in a match disqualification penalty. Willfully shooting a stage other than the way it was intended in order to gain a competitive advantage, spirit of the game. Shooting ammunition that does not meet the power factor or minimum velocity, spirit of the game. Willfully refusing to make an attempt to complete any non-shooting procedure written within the stage instructions, failure to engage. We're handing the timer off to our friend Dudley Do-Wrong. Coming up to the stage, our shooter, Snidely Dumas Jr., shooting in the duelist category, stages his guns. The instructions are pretty simple. With pistols, alternate double taps on the pistol targets for 10 rounds. With rifle, repeat pistol instructions on the rifle targets. With shotgun, engage in any order. Shoot low, boys! They're riding Shetland ponies! Stand by! The time is 21 dead, no misses, but you had at least a procedural there. Snidely, after you messed up your first pistol, why did you switch to shooting in the traditional style? And why dump all the rounds on the same rifle target? Easy, my friend. You can only give me 1P, and I need to make up time for that first procedural. Wait a minute, that don't sound right. So, I'll ask you, what should Dudley's call be? Snidely is factually accurate when he states that he can only be given 1 procedural penalty per stage. However, he is quoting that rule out of context of the rest of the shooter's handbook. If ever there was a textbook example of a spirit of the game infraction, this is it. He committed his first procedural when he put 3 rounds on the second pistol target. He then purposefully committed 2 more procedural penalties by switching to shooting in the traditional style when he knew that he was required to shoot in the duelist style, and by dumping all his remaining rounds on a single target because he knew it was going to be faster than engaging the 2 targets, and then doing the same with the rifle because of their spread. By his own admission to the TO, Snidely is guilty of willfully shooting the stage other than the way it was intended in order to gain a competitive advantage, as he sought to make up time following his initial mistake. The spirit of the game call, in addition to his procedural, is the correct penalty in this situation. As calls go, this is one that most of us will never make. Even around the sport of cowboy action shooting, it is not one that gets made that often. However, when you travel to a shoot away from your home club, you may be confronted with this type of situation, especially when those other folks say, "We do it all the time at my home club." I hope that you are ready to head to the range. There are monthly, club annual, and championship level matches happening, probably near to where you are right now. And if you have not yet left the friendly confines of your home club to take up a new challenge of a club annual or championship level match, what are you waiting for? To find a place to shoot, visit sassnet.com or our website, branchwaterjack.com, and I'll see you on the firing line.